Good people, what's going on? Welcome to episode 92. Yes, I said it, episode 92 of the Dome Podcast, man. It's been a fun ride and back. My homie, for the third time, legendary, I know he don't like to hear that, legendary hip-hop journalist, amongst other things in the culture, my man, Rob Markman. What's good, Playboy?
What up, man? I'm doing good, man. I can't believe it's been 3 times already, man. That's dope, man. I always enjoy our time.
No question, man. Likewise, man. Very dope, man. And look, we're getting close to the end of 2025.
Facts.
And you know what's funny? A couple of months ago, you started seeing all this rhetoric about, man, hip hop is dead or hip hop is dying, and the billboards, and we ain't showcasing, what I'm saying, like we used to, as far as like the pop charts and all of this stuff like that. And I laughed at it because I was like, man, music wise, I'm in a safe place right now. I feel great with the music, man. But when you being a journalist, man, you being involved in the culture on that side as well, what was your thoughts, man, when you started hearing that conversation started to grow?
So that was it. It was just so. Remember when Eddie Murphy, when they said, "Yo, man, Michael Jackson looking for you," and Eddie goes, "So." Nah, man, it wasn't. It was BS to me. That narrative has started even last year, 2 years ago, when there was like albums wasn't hitting top hot 200. Look, man, I'm from the era of wise man once said, "Rap ain't pop, and if you call it that, then stop." You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? So I wasn't like it's great and the success is great. Don't get me wrong. The
Mm-hmm.
accolades and the success is great, but I feel so good about the music that we were getting this year and the full bodies of work that we were getting this year that I'm like, cool. I'm cool with it. And then the other side of it was, and this is the journalistic side, when those headlines start coming out, there's not a rap song in the Billboard Top 40 for the first time in 35 years. What the headline didn't tell you is that they changed the recurrent rule on
Ah,
Billboard. So the week before it, they changed the rule. The recurrent rule is, and I'm just making up the number. I forget what the exact number, but let's say if you've been in the top 25 for 25 weeks, right? But if you
mm-hmm.
fall to number 26, then you just fall off the chart. You don't fall to 26, you fall off the chart. So the recurrent
Okay.
rule, because now that we count streaming into billboards, they're and the recurring rule has been around forever, but songs are staying on the charts for longer and longer. So this is a way to create room for newer songs. So the week before that headline, Billboard had changed the recurrent rule. Had they not changed that rule, Kendrick Lamar and SZA Luther would still be in the top 40, but they changed the
Right.
rule and Luther had to come out. The other thing that they didn't tell you is, and man, God bless her. Taylor Swift is a force. Taylor Swift had just dropped her new album and all 12 charts tracked. That's something that's new in the digital era, right? Like, it's like the equivalent, and it didn't happen this way. When Michael Jackson Thriller drops, imagine if all 9 or 10 of those songs charted at the same time.
And it
Most
would
of
have.
them eventually charted because they were released as singles, but you had to wait
Right.
till the song released as singles. Now, because of
Right.
streaming and the consumption, Taylor Swift can drop an album and all 12 of her songs could potentially go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 on the Hot 100. So there were factors and there were things that they weren't telling us. And then the next week it corrected itself again. And it was just a headline. It was a bit of rage bait, man.
And that's the part that's frustrating, because that type of rage bait will make some casuals think that the music is suffering, when in essence, man, for me personally, 2025 has been one of the stronger years in hip hop in terms of releases in years. And
Yeah.
that's saying a lot, because I was gonna ask you, like, when I think about 2025, it trumped 2024 to me. And I thought 2024 was a dope year in hip hop. I thought it was a very
Yeah.
dope year last year. But this year, I was like, I thought it went to another whole level. So real quick, man, what's your thoughts on just when you think of the releases, and we'll talk about some of the releases for 2025, but just comparing it to 2024, do you feel like this shit elevated with the actual projects that was
Yeah.
released to the fans?
I just think the quality of what we got as far as projects go was just better. And I had said this on my channel again, man. It's hard to ignore Kendrick versus Drake. and that caused
Yep.
reverberations through hip hop. It's a fact. And I had
It's
said on
fact.
my channel, I said, "Hey man, this is gonna change things, and fans are gonna start looking for more substance, more, and artists are gonna start. This is gonna signal to artists, and because of what those two guys represent, right?
Yeah.
It's not even the reality of what it is. What those two guys represents. This will signal to artists like, yo, we could get back to making out. It don't got to be a single. You don't got to make a song for everybody. Like, we got into this thing where as the number one genre, we want a song. We when we deliver a single, it gotta hit. It gotta have a little Afro beats. It gotta have like a little
Right.
hip hop. It gotta have like a little R&B. You gotta hit like everything. And it's like, yo, we don't have to be everything to everybody. And I said that at the beginning of the year, and people
Mm.
called me crazy, told me I was dumb, told me I ain't know what I was talking
Right.
about. All this is the pendulum swinging, man, and we've seen this happen before. But I think it was artists going back to like, yo, I'm gonna deliver this body of work. I don't really care what the single is. I'm not necessarily
Yeah.
trying to game the system for a number or anything like that, man. I just want to create this body of work and this expression. And I think we got a lot of that this year. And I personally think we're better off for it, whether it reflects on the Billboard charts or not.
Yeah, I think the fans, the true fans who really love the music, just the music. 'Cause I always tell people all the time, I care about the music because people always want to debate me about everything outside of the music. And my thing is always the same thing. At the end of the day, when I push play, am I pleased? Am I happy? You know what I'm saying? And this year, when I think about the long list of very good, because everything doesn't have to be a classic. And I tell people all the time, everything does not to be five. Good is good. We had a lot of good albums this year. We had a few great albums this year, and we might have had one or two albums that this generation might feel is a classic at some point in the future. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I like when I hit play. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like this year, and man, the year of the groups, Rob. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? Like
yeah,
when I think about 2025, like the resurgence of rap groups, when we think about a Mobb Deep album, when we think about De La Soul, we think about the Clips, we think about Smith and Wesson. That's not even talked about enough.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? We think about Arrested Development album, which Sneaky is a very good album,
yeah,
bro. You
yeah,
know what
yeah,
I'm saying? Like Public Enemy had an album. You know, you got all these. You had like 6 or 7 group albums this year. Compared, like last year, one of the highlights for me was that Dog Pound album. I thought it was very dope. You got
yeah.
a few group albums. You know what I'm saying? But then this year again, you also got back to a lot of one DJ, one producer albums, man. But just real quick, what do you think about the group resurgence, kind of the group albums this year, man? Like, what's your thoughts on that?
Nah, yeah, it's been dope. I think we got a handful of great group albums, man. De La is in my top 5 albums this year. I thought the
Okay.
De La album was beautiful, and kudos to them for having to do that without Dave. This their first album without Dave. So there's the emotional weight, but even as from an MC, from having another creative in the studio, like they have one less person to lean on, and Dave was a force. And even credit to Paz, who does most of the rhyming. Most of the rhyming,
Right.
as we know, in De La was between Paz and Dave. Maceo might give
Right.
you a verse here and there, but Paz had to pick up a lot. And they had a
Yeah,
lot of great features as well.
they
And
did.
so kudos to them. Kudos to Mobb Deep. Mobb Deep was in a similar situation. I was afraid for the Mobb Deep album because I
Me
was
too,
just
man.
like, what are we gonna do without posthumous albums are just hard for me in general. Because they seldomly turn out the way you want them. And for one, on one regard, we're very happy because the family gets to eat, but it's like, damn,
Mhm.
it's a legacy as well. And man, kudos to Havoc. Havoc too. Havoc had to pick up a lot of slack on those rhymes
He did.
and the
He did.
production, and they know what Prodigy sound good over, and Alchemist as well. And man,
Yep.
they upheld the Mobb Deep legacy, they upheld the Prodigy legacy, and then you talk about Clips, man. Um, 15-year hiatus,
Hallelujah.
16-year hiatus
Wow.
as a group to come back. Like how you come back after 15, 16 years, and arguably, I mean, I believe, but it's arguably, but I believe this is the best Clips album. Um,
Whoa,
I believe I said
that's
I
a good
said that
conversation.
I said that I had the album about a month before it came out. Um, So I was sitting with it. So on day one, I said it. I mean, I've argued with Pusha about it, like, you know, and the homie, like, we just argue about it. But I think this is the best Clips album. But regardless, if it is or if it isn't, no matter what you feel, I think we could all agree it is in their conversation. It is the Clips at their best. It is the Clips at top of their game. And after 15, 16 years of not recording together, they're still brothers. So I'm sure there's still a camaraderie. There's still a chemistry that is just natural. But after 15, 16 years and the sound that good, man, like, it's inspiring.
Yeah, it was beautiful when you think about what just them being vulnerable, talking about their parents, showing that video, you know what I'm saying, living through that, which is traumatic. You know what I'm saying? Anyone who's lost a parent, and you know, my mother passed when I was a kid, you know what I'm saying? And I've shared that before, you know, and stuff like that. So anyone who's lost parents and to look at videos of them talking and, you know, just rehashing that emotion and that birds don't sing, man, I would say when you think about hip hop and the passion of a dear mama, you know, and even a Nas, the dance, we talk about dance with his mom in heaven and type things like that, and you know, just so many tears, but there's a lot of thought-provoking, deep songs that has to be on that list of some of those most vulnerable songs in the culture. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they did that, to your point, after having this kind of hiatus. They put together a beautiful album. This gonna get a lot of attention as far as like potential album of the year. It's pretty much on most of the great albums of this year list, somewhat close to the top, between 1 and 5. I think you'd be hard pressed to find too many lists where that Clips album isn't held in high regard. You know what I'm saying? And when you compare it to that, just the fact that you said that and thought that it might have had this conversation with Push or anyone, that it could even trump any of their previous albums. Clips didn't miss a lot when it came to their group albums. You know what I mean? Like, they always sound nice, cohesive, good production. Lyrically, you know what they bring to the table. You know what I'm saying? And they didn't fall off not one bit lyrically.
Yeah. And they needed this because the last album was To the Casket Drop. And that, I think, it would be fair, and if we're being honest, is at the bottom of their discography. I thought there were some great moments on To the Casket Drops. I thought there was some really like great moments on To the Casket Drops, but in terms of the album, it wasn't Clips on their high note. So I'm also glad for them that they bounced back from that. Like the last album we got from them wasn't them at their best, but now it is. If they decide to never put another album out again, what a high note. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and some people love the album, and that's the strong part about this album, that when you are this late in the game and you make a project that's better than some of your earlier joints that some people really like. Now, comparing that to Hell Have No Fury or Lord Will and stuff like that, that's some good conversation. It is better than Till the Casket Drop to me. I think it's just more solid all the way through. And this album doesn't have really any low points. I mean, there's some songs that's great, some songs that's good, I believe, but there's not a bad song on the album. I think it's a skip on the album to me personally. I mean, it was just stellar. But to your point about Mobb Deep, man, I was very scared. I love Prodigy. You know what I'm saying? Like, and people know, check out the Voice of New York is one of the articles I wrote about Prodigy years ago. I reposted it several times this year for any new followers and stuff, because I'm such a huge Prodigy fan. And so when you hear about, to your point earlier, when someone passed away, you're always scared about that album, because sometimes they throw production together. They throw songs that MC probably wouldn't have done. You know, it's like Biggie duets almost. You know, it's like certain stuff. You're like, Big wouldn't.
We don't talk about that.
Yo.
That never happened. That never happened.
I'm sorry, Rob. It happened, brother.
Biggie duets never happened.
I know, man. It hurt my heart too. You know what I'm saying?
They might have to give Puff a couple of extra months for Biggie duets, man. Just
man, I'm telling you, man, they should have thrown that. Just throw that shit in the basket, man, the trash bag. I mean, but yeah, man. So that's the thing, though. For Prodigy, anyone that know how Prodigy's vibe was, he was very, honest with how he felt about things. You know what I'm saying? If he heard something he didn't like, it, Prodigy would be on the interview, be like, yeah, that shit was whack. That's how P was. You know what I'm saying? So they did him justice, because these are kind of beats that Prodigy would have picked, because who better to oversee that than Havoc and the Alchemist, the two people that he's worked with more than anyone in his life.
And they love him so much. I know.
And they love him so much.
It's particularly Al. I mean, have to, but yeah. Now I'm a big fan, man, and I did one of the last interviews with Prodigy the year before he passed, and then me and him did a podcast together with Premium Pete. Shout out to Premium Pete.
Word.
Noah Callahan Bevel was on that. Casanova. We did it. It was a Father's Day podcast, and Premium Pete brought us all together. This was 2 weeks before Prodigy passed. Like,
wow,
we was just with him. So, man, I have a special place in my heart for P, man, and it's amazing to hear that his legacy still lives on, man. And you know, it just wasn't like they just stitched verses together. I mean, he got ad libs on there. He got choruses. Sometimes it's the first verse. Sometimes it's the last verse. Like if he feels alive on that, he feels present on that album. It doesn't feel like
that's
an
the
afterthought
word, man.
or something. Yeah.
Yeah, and now same thing you said about the Clips, I said about Mobb Deep. You can argue that, you know, this Mobb Deep album is better than several Mobb Deep albums. I mean, you got, of course, we got the infamous and Hell on Earth and Murder Music, but after that, it can fight infamy. It might be better. It's better than American Nightmare, than Blood Money, and all them joints to me. You know what I'm saying? So you can say after the infamous and Hell on Earth and Murder Music, number 4 might be this Infinite album, bro. And I don't think I was listening to them joints the other day, and I was like, I think this album better than the last, 3 or 4 Mobb Deep albums.
I got to go back and really listen with that mindset, but that don't sound crazy to me. Like, I'm not gonna sit here like, you know what I'm saying, because Infamy, I mean, there's joints that right, because Infamy had Burn, Infamy had Get Away.
Yeah, some joints,
like it's definitely joints, but top to bottom maybe, and then you know, Pearly Gates on the G Unit album, like there was some real high points.
Bro,
that's a good discussion. I got to go back and listen. I'm not ready to co-sign that yet, but you saying that, I'm like, damn, that don't sound crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna pose
like,
that to
all
the listeners then. Yeah, I'm gonna pose that to all the listeners. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna post that. Where do you rank this Mobb Deep album in their discography? Because I believe it ranks number 4. You know what I'm saying? And I think it trumps every other album that they did outside of the 3 major ones, obviously, that they released in, 90s or what have you. And that's also goes to a conversation about, this is the great thing, Rob, about this year's group album, because now when I think about De La Soul, I would say this De La Soul album is better than some of their last album. Now, of course, it's not better than Grind Date. Of course, It's not better than the 3 Feet High and Rise, and the De La Soul Is Dead, and the Stakes Is High. We know that. But when you take those 4, back to this number 4 again, you take those 4 albums out the way, and then you start thinking about the other De La Soul albums. This album right here holds up or could trump some of De La Soul album. And Dave, Dave, of course, wasn't as present as Prodigy was, but he still had a presence on the album.
Well, he guided the album. Like, if you look at what they did, obviously the first song or the first track is the skit, the Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah.
But the second one, You Don't Stop, the first voice you hear on You Don't Stop,
You
Don't stop. That's Dave's voice.
That's Dave, yeah.
And then when Paz, like that track is so beautiful because it sets up the album. Then Paz starts his verse like, oh, I just woke up with this voice in my head. What's the voice in his head? It's Dave. You don't stop.
Dave, yeah.
Dave says don't stop. We're gonna keep going, because there was questions about. I had questions of like how, just because of how tight knit De La was, and we've never seen them apart. I think De La deserves credit. Most groups break up, come back together. Like, we've seen dissension amongst groups. It's sad.
Almost every group.
We've seen it with EPMD. We've seen it with Run DMC. We see Outkast. It wasn't a beef with Outkast, but they split. We seen it with Mobb Deep for a while. We seen Chuck and Flav not seeing eye to eye for a time or two. We had the Locks, who we've always seen unified, and we credit them for that. De La's in that category of we.
And you know what, Rob? It's really how many haven't, because most of them have. So the thing is, like you said, the Locks, De La Soul. I mean, most of these people had. Wu-Tang even had issues before. We know that's been
Wu-Tang, CNN.
They had issues with RZA.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. They had issues with RZA. Cash Money had issues.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying. No Limit, the groups within No Limit had
Tribe Called
issues.
Quest. I think one of the scenes that always stuck with me. Tribe Called Quest, that documentary that Michael
It beats
Rappaport
Rhymes
did.
of Life, yeah.
It was hard to watch. I mean, it was honest, but it was
It
hard to
was
watch.
very honest.
It hurt seeing Fife and Tip like that. And I remember there was a scene that there was at some show when De La was there, like trying to piece it up for them and couldn't.
And they would say
man,
they were hurt.
yeah, yeah, and that's what De La represented. So I didn't know that De La was going to carry on. I would not have faulted them if Paz and Maceo said, "Hey, we're not going to do another De La album," but they found a way to include Dave and center it around Dave, and Dave was like the guiding spirit of this joint. So you have "You Don't Stop," which is the first joint, and he's the first voice you hear, and then the last song is "Don't Push Me." It's a solo Dave joint. So he starts the album and he ends the album.
Yeah.
It was just such a beautiful album. But that just goes to show the intention of the album. That wasn't by accident. They really crafted something beautiful. And while he physically couldn't be a part of it, they made sure his spirit was a part of it.
They did, man. And shout out to Mass Appeal and Nas and everyone who was involved with those albums, the whole Legend Habit thing. And I know you hosted the show, you interview, you talk to them, how was that experience, man? I watched it and I like, look at the homie up there, and I think first of all, you did a great job with that, man. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, no doubt. But just of course having Nas and Daylight and all those guys there, man. What was that experience like?
I still don't believe it, man. I was outside of my body. Like it was really like I had to pinch myself. Is this really happening? Because it was at New York Comic-Con. My closest friends, like I'm a big comic book head. I always have been.
Yeah, I know.
And there's a lot of intersection between hip hop and comic books, but it's not always expressed or put on Front Street. Everybody thinks if you're in the comic books, you look like the Big Bang Theory, and it's like, nah. If you think about it, look, DJ Green Lantern. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The Justice League, even Boy Wonder. You can go on and on. Pete Rock, who's Pete Rock? The Chocolate Boy Wonder. Robin was the Boy Wonder. Like, there's so many people who are just like in the comic books or name themselves after comic books. And so to be able to bring hip hop to New York City Comic-Con, Mass Appeal was able to do that with Marvel, and then they're like, okay, well, we want you to be the moderator, the kind of the voice, the bridge for all this thing. It was crazy. So I'm on that stage, I'm sitting right next to Slick Rick, and I got to pinch myself, dog. Like Lottie Dottie was the first rap song I learned the words to when I was a kid.
Wow, that's crazy.
And
did you get a chance to tell him that?
Yeah. I told him that. The wild thing too, I was wearing the chain. I was wearing my Right to Dream chain, my custom piece. And Rick's wife Mandy was like, "Yo, that's fire! Like, yo, I like that.
Right?
Yo, Rick, check out his chain." And so now I'm embarrassed because I'm like, who, like this Slick Rick? Like, I can't show off my jewelry to Slick Rick. Like my piece is special to me, but this Slick Rick, he invented. He the reason why we want to put a piece of gold around our neck. Really. So we just had like a small conversation about the chain around my neck, and I'm just like, yo, what is my life right now that I'm sitting here backstage with Rick and just all of those guys, man. It was a surreal moment, man. I still kind of can't believe it happened. If we didn't have pictures and video of it, I would think that I was dreaming, man.
Yeah, man, very dope. And like I said, with Mass Appeal, what they did this year, releasing all those albums, and we did say something about the someone passing away and how that would turn out. I was also just kind of nervous about the Big L situation because I had said to some people a few months ago that, after the big picture, I think, I think that might have been on Rockers, I believe, whatever. I was like, this sounds like this probably all of L's music because they even used a few freestyles on the big picture. So I was like, when I heard about Legend Has it was going to have the Big L joint, I was like, well, what do they have? Does Lord Finesse? Who has these songs that verses that we haven't heard? So that was going to be really hard to do. But I do appreciate the effort for the Big L album because you still want to bring him alive, and if you can still have his family or someone who loves him can eat, then I'm never going to knock that. You know what I'm saying? But I was nervous because L just didn't have a lot of music.
Yeah, and Big L, rest in peace, and
Yeah, no doubt.
I get critical. I didn't love the big picture as an I bought this. This is somebody who bought Lifestyles of Poor and Dangerous when it dropped.
Me too. Yeah,
Like
no doubt,
when
no
it
doubt.
dropped, I bought it. So I was very much a Big L fan. It, big picture again was one of those posthumous joints where I'm like, if he was alive, it wouldn't have been this. What I liked about this album, and I was nervous too, because I'm just like the
Yeah,
same thing. How much more material is what haven't we heard? I think this album, this project in particular, this Master Appeal project, didn't try to be something that it was not. It didn't try to lean into it. It didn't try to trick us. It didn't try to put like shiny packaging around old Big L verses. A lot of the verses, they kept the hiss. It like a lot of it sounded just like a mixtape. Like it almost kind of
yeah,
maybe
it
sound like
did.
a best of. And I feel like instead of trying to make a posthumous album, they kind of leaned into to maybe the digging in the crates aspect of Big L. And I liked how some of the records sounded dusty. It's
Yeah,
cool that they put the Big L Stretching Barbito Jay-Z freestyle over it. They switched the
yeah.
beat a little bit, but they didn't do too much to where it felt like it didn't honor the original. I like the Big L project more than I thought I was going to, because I was super
Okay.
nervous, man. But they did a good job. Some of, again, just hearing the hits on some of it, I felt like I was listening to a mixtape, and I could respect that. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay.
And I felt like it was a mixtape situation as well. I'm not mad at it. You know what I'm saying? I always love Big L. I took a picture and posted it of the original CD, and I said I bought this in 1995 when it came out, when I was in school and college, what have you, just to let people know, because I was hard on the album because the production for me, and I respect Buck Wild. He's a great producer, you know what I'm saying, and other people who had joints on there. He's an amazing producer. It was a dirty album, dirty production. Not mad at it. I like it the way I like Method Man to Kyle first album. It was kind of grungy or whatever, but it wasn't some five mic album to me. And people get
No.
mad when you say something's not a classic. But I'm like, yo, it was a good album, great lyrics, solid production. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, shout out to Master Appeal for Big L. But speaking of Master Appeal, and what they did was this year was outstanding, amazing. I'm wondering, are they gonna do another series in 2026? And if they do, if you could name 3 or 4 people, because I'm gonna name on my end, if they do it again, I would like Big Daddy Kane to have an album, because I feel like every time he does any kind of freestyle on IG or anywhere, he sounds amazing, crystal clear, like he did on his verses with KRS-One. Kane sounds great. He always sounds great. I'm a big fan. He's down, of course. I'm in North Carolina. He's down here. Ran into Kane plenty of times, man. He's everything that I thought it was gonna be before I met him. Cool, humble brother. Chopped it up with him before, man. Really like Kane, man. You know what I'm saying? And I would like to see him do an album. I'd like to see a Cool G rap album with Master Appeal, maybe.
I
like to
heard G
see,
Rap. I heard G Rap working on something. Not with Master Appeal, but I
man.
heard we might get a G Rap album soon.
I would love to get a G Rap album, man. I'm gonna go left field. I'd like to get an MC Light album, man, under that whole joint as well. You know what I'm saying? I like to see another Q-Tip album, man. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I'm such a big fan of the Renaissance, and you know what I'm saying? And he never, I don't know if that last Zulu or any of the other albums that Kamal, the abstract type stuff, some of that stuff was never really released, I don't
It
believe.
never
But
really came out.
so I like to get another Q-Tip album also, man. But with you for next year, if they're gonna do a Legend Has It and some 90s groups or solo MCs, any that you would be like, yo, I like to see them rock out next year.
I would like to see, that's a good question. I'd like to see a Rakim album, and
Of course.
Rosman releasing on his own, but I like under this foundation that they built now with Mass Appeal, I think it will be a good vehicle for Rakim situation. Who else? Large Professor.
Oh,
I like to see a Rakim. I like to see a Large Professor.
yeah.
And hey, they got a connection. They got a connection. I don't think it's gonna work. I think this is a pipe dream. But her and Nas got a connection. So I'm gonna say Rakim. I said Large Professor, Lauryn Hill.
Man, you know what? That you pulled that one out. You pulled that one out because I wasn't thinking about that at all. But you know what, man? Like, the fact that Nas even able to get Lauryn Hill on that Nobody track on that King Disease joint says a whole lot, because she really does not rock with a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? And her and Nas have performed together over the years. She respects Nas, Nas respect her. They have a legit relationship. We know that. So, man, it's funny you said that, but Lauryn, man, she would shake hip hop up with an album, especially if it's from her rhyming.
Yeah. I think if there's anybody who could like get Lauryn to lock in.
Wow.
Look, Lauryn's gonna do what she's gonna do. You can't get Lauryn to do nothing. That's a queen who marches to the beat of home drum. But if there's anybody where it kind of makes sense, I think it's Nas. I think her and Nas. And again, especially what they built with Mass Appeal. And then you got to look at it with Mass Appeal too, is they got to take it to another level. They got to take it, you know what I'm saying? Like
the
expectation is high now. You know what I'm saying? I think Lauryn Hill would shake the world up. Nas and Lauryn would shake the world up.
My God. So voice still sounded dope, the flow, everything. You know, she still sounded really good, man. Yeah, that would definitely shake it up. But since we'll defense the Mass Appeal part off, we know what happened this year. The elephant in the room, Nas DJ Premier. What's your? I know you've spoken about it before. I don't know if I saw your actual video talking about that to this point, man. But just Detox was like this. You know what I'm saying? This is the East Coast version of Detox to me. I say this on a rap roundtable. I said, you know, we talked about this for years. Nobody ever thought this was going to happen. We saw the pitch on Scratch Magazine 20 years ago, whatever. We didn't think it was going to ever happen. Dr. Dre is probably never going to drop Detox, but Nas and Primo, they did it. And so after a couple of weeks now, what's your thoughts?
Sadly, it didn't live up to the expectation. And I think it was damn near impossible for what
it was.
Those two guys have given us and how long we've been awaiting this. I remember when I heard it the first time. I didn't do my video. I heard it the first time. I was like, man, I don't know. And I listened to it a couple more times. I let it sink in, and then I'm starting to find joints that I like. I think there's a beauty in the album. I think it's good. I think it's a good 3.5 mics, 3.5 mics. Like, again, it goes back to what you say. Don't everything got to be classic and everything isn't trash. Like, sometimes you just got albums like, yo, it's a good album. I think it's good. I think it's decent. I think for what those two guys are, we were expecting more. But I mean, Madman, I think, is an incredible song. I love what they did on Third Childhood. I love how it's an ode to hip hop. I love how we have the song for the writers. I love the concept of pause tapes. I didn't love the beat on pause tapes. I do wonder out loud, and we'll ever see. I wonder if Premier, it would be fly if Premier made that beat like on a pause tape, like. But and I don't know, you know what I'm saying? But that's like the fan
haven't
fiction.
heard anything, you know.
But I thought the concept of pause tapes was dope. I thought Bouquet and him giving flowers to the women was dope. And from Nas, you know, was genuine, because who was one of his biggest inspirations in Queensbridge? He's talked about it. We've seen it depicted. Roxanne Shante. Like, he's coming up, and Roxanne is the hottest fish grease, telling him, yo, you better get your rhyme together. You know what I'm saying? Like when he was shorty. So I love seeing Nas giving up for women in that way. There was some that nasty Esco Nasir. I thought that was dope.
Joint is nuts.
Yeah, I didn't like and I like the Steve Miller Band joint. I know a lot of people was critical over that, but I like the time joint, the Steve Miller Band. I thought was cool. I didn't like New York State of Mind 3. I thought that was like I thought that was a huge swing, and it didn't connect to me. Like one is a classic, 2 they got it off on 2, and to come back and do 3, I'm like, man, it just didn't match the energy that I was looking for. I thought Nas was dope. If I'm critical, the beats didn't live up to a lot of the expectations. I thought Nas was kind of pushing the envelope with a lot of these concepts and stuff like that. And I think the beats didn't quite live up to it for me. And that's just me being honest.
Yeah. And you know, my thing was, I like the album. I think it's a good album. I think that the more I ride to it, see, I feel like when the hype comes down off certain, you know, projects, people can absorb it better. It was just too much expectation, unrealistic. It was people saying, he gonna change hip hop. He don't need to. He's
He
done
changed
that
hip hop
already.
already.
Not
They both
he's
changed hip hop already.
absolutely. Yeah, he's already changed him. They both have done it. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I say, you know what? If it's good, I'm satisfied. And for me, it's a good album. Nas my favorite MC, but I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, it's some 5 mic thing, or it's I've seen people say it's 5 mics, 2 mics. Why can't it just be a good album? Because it is a good album to me. You know what I'm saying? I don't like that Welcome to the Underground joint, but when I think about that Nasty Nasir joint, I'm like, the creativity is classic Nas. Nas is the concept king anyway. So the pause tape, the writers, all the third childhood, that's just classic Nas to me. You know what I'm saying? I do feel like the Madman to me sound like Hard to Earn Primo, and I said that before. You know what I'm saying? So but there are some beats on there. Some reminded me, and I don't know if this is intentional from Primo or not. I don't know, but a few beats on there reminded me of old gang star that people don't listen to. Like when I say that, I mean No More Mr. Nice Guy. Certain tracks on Daily Operation, certain tracks on Stepping into the Arena, whatever. So I'm not talking about the Wicks and the big songs and those album type things.
Yeah.
Certain album cuts, some of those beats kind of sound like that. You know what I'm saying? If you go, because a lot of people don't listen to No More Mr. Nice Guy and Daily Operation and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I was thinking when I heard some of the songs, and I felt like they were trying to capture some old sounds. And since it was kind of old to hip hop or whatever, I think some of that was intentional, as opposed to having all of them sound like Madman. You know what I'm saying? For me, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like Nas' performance was a 4.5. And I feel like Premier's performance was a 3.5. So you average that together, you get what you get. That's kind of where I looked at it, man. What Nas has done since COVID to now, you know what I'm saying? Like from 2020 to 2025, Nas has 7 albums. You know what I mean? We're talking about unprecedented work ethic from one of the GOATs. That's the type of stuff Stevie Wonder and Marvin Gaye did in the 70s, dropping 6-7 albums in a decade. This is what happened in hip hop with Nas. And I know there's other artists that have done multiple albums in a year or stuff like that, but they're not on the level of Nas. People on that type of level don't release.
And you get the feeling that he wants it. Nas is not in the situation, to me, doesn't strike me that he has to do it. Sometimes a veteran artist have to record, have to put something out so they can get back on the road. So that, this is, I'm making a living, right? And Nas, he said, man, I turned Ether to Ethereum. Like Nas was talking his shit. Even on New York State of Mind 3, he did have ill lines when he said, right, because he was like something through the peephole, shooting up in street clothes, and he said something about turning the peephole to the Ring camera. Like, if you think about it, we don't got peepholes no more. We got Ring cameras. Like that's not, Nas got that investment. So he was talking this shit. It does just seem like he's very like inspired to do it.
I think it's for the love.
I love that.
I think it's for the love, but also, man, I really, people like us really listen to lyrics. Listening to this album, and even his Hit Boy runs, Nas is talking some big boy shit. And Nas is in his own way saying, dude, I'm the best at this. He's saying in a smooth, cool way because he's that type of cat. But I think, man, personally, he has tried to separate himself. And I actually believe at this point in hip hop, and like I said, during the Hit Boy run, I was like, damn, I had Rakim as my GOAT, man, since high school. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Rakim stan, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ask about Rakim, I know all about all his early albums. I know every damn lyric. You know what I'm saying? But I just love Rakim. And I just thought Rakim was, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Nas was Anakin Skywalker. You know what I'm saying? But at some point, Nas, what happened on episode 4? He sliced him. And it's like, I felt like, Nas, because Jay-Z hasn't released the album since 444. I can't keep holding on to that. Is he one of the gods of rap? Yes, he's Hov. We know that. But what Nas has done to me, he surpassed all the golden era MCs over the last, 7 years to me, 6, 7 years to me. He passed Hov to me. You know what I'm saying? Big and Pac, they died early. I always said I thought Big was gonna probably end up being the most complete MC ever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we didn't get a chance to see a full career from Biggie, and he passed away after the second album. You know what I'm saying? I feel like Pac was the best hip hop artist, but Biggie might have ended up being the best MC. You know what I'm saying? And to me now, you can't overlook a dude starting that Live at the Barbecue as a teen and been a 52-year-old man just dropped this damn album right here and can't say he's the GOAT for me. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think there's, but the crazy scary part, Nas ain't done. He sounds so refreshed and sounds so into his rhyming and loving it and found like this second win. I won't be surprised to hear another Nas album 2 years from now, man. I would not be surprised. What you think?
Yeah, or sooner. Like, you know, it just depends. When Nas is the production, we seen what Hit Boy, what he was able to do with Hit Boy. They did 6 joints together. I think Hit Boy was able to rejuvenate him or inspire him to really go on a run like that. Because Nas is really too cool for school. He's kind of laid back. Nas never comes off as thirsty or whatever. But to get 6 albums from Nas in such a short time really kind of felt like out of character for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know he didn't need the money, so it wasn't a business decision. So you sit back and you're like, damn, that's off inspiration. That's off I want to be here. That's off I still have something to say. That's off, you know. So I could see him catching the right beat pack from certain producers or the right concept for an album or something, and him going right back in and turning something around.
Yeah, you know what?
Him and AZ, he talked about an album with him and A. In the Joe Budden.
Yeah, I saw the Joe Budden. I saw the Joe Budden joint with him and Primo. And I'll say this since you brought up the AZ part. I wouldn't mind hearing an EP with him and AZ. 7-8 song EP. I would want to be inspiring, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, the song on the Primo album, I like it, but it was so laid back that it didn't seem inspiring to me the way their past songs were, especially when I think about, you know, of course, the Flyers and the joint serious,
More Money, More Homicide,
Yeah, when I think about all of the songs they've done together and that song Serious that never made streets Disciple and shit like that, I'm like, if you're gonna do that, then give me 10 tracks. If you're gonna do it, if y'all gonna be too cool for school, let's just say, then man, you give me an EP, man.
I did hear. I'm waiting on somebody to send me it. I did hear, if I could get my hands on it, but I because I'm curious. I did hear that the beat was it My Story, Your Story, the AZ Nas?
Yeah, My Story, Your Story.
I heard that they had that wasn't the beat originally, and there was a sample clearance issue, so they had to put a new beat. And everybody that I heard it was like the original was fire. But there was a sample clearance issue, so maybe somewhere down the line we get to hear that.
I feel you. Few more joints real quick before I let y'all here, man. You know, another thing that's been a topic of discussion this week is this Fab 50 Cent. What, you know, and then a lot of people, you know, I have my thoughts on
Brooklyn.
A lot of people think everyone's afraid of 50 Cent. I ain't heard 50 Cent rhyme like really hard in a long time, but Fab always been pretty sharp with the lyrics. And I know other people have words on the freestyle and stuff like that, but Fab is the face of this situation.
Fab stole the show. Fab, with all due respect, Fab stole the show, dog.
He stole the show.
That Fab verse was crazy.
And Fab is nice. Always been nice, man. But what do you think? Because I saw 50 response basically like, I'm busy right now, but yeah, I'm coming.
Yeah, 50, I don't think 50's gonna get back in the booth. I don't think, and let's be clear, Fab shit was incredible. Fab's verse was fire. I see a lot of people talking with revisionist history. 50 is not a lyricist like Fab is. The way Fab will put the bars together with interconnectivity and internal rhyme scheme structure and all of that. 50 has never been that type of MC.
Great songwriter.
But when it comes to a head-to-head, when it comes to a battle, when it comes to diss tracks, 50 was a force. So, you know, styles make fights. He just has a different style of doing it. but 50 was a guy at his height in his prime you did not want to go up against. You know what I'm saying? From
His height, you know what I'm saying? And you know, it was a big machine behind it, but of course he had your life on the
nah,
line,
but
background.
it was more than the machine because
It was.
even still, when before he was even signed to the shit,
That's true. All
he
the
was doing
mixtape.
murder, your life's on the line,
Yeah, Lights on Line was hard. And then
and
he had
so
of course How to Rob. Of course he had
yeah,
I mean he can rhyme. I mean, you know what I'm saying? He could diss. He even had issues with Wu-Tang at that time and had some underground drones going at
yeah,
Wu and Ghost
a
and all them
ghost,
cats.
yeah.
So he definitely has the energy. But to your point, what when was the last time he's really
Right.
rhymed on a high level? I mean, you hear him do the little songs, for theme songs for his shows, and even that short ass verse he had on Magic 2 with Nas. You know what I'm saying? So I haven't heard 50 really be
Yeah.
50 in over a decade. We talking about Fab still sound like, you know what I'm saying?
So
There's a storm Fab.
that's my thing. I want to be fair to Fifth, and my response to that was because I see a lot of revisionist history on social media. Let's not take away the path. Let's not take away the foundation that Fifth built. Fifth was fearsome. On you didn't want to go up against Fifth. I don't care who you are, how good you rhyme. Fifth is a tough out because you know what I'm saying. That being said,
Outside of the Locks murking them, but go ahead.
yeah, but even still, I mean, and that was the Locks. But even still, that was primetime TV. You was looking to see what Fifth was gonna say. You was looking to see. That being said, yeah, I ain't see Fifth in the ring in a long time. I don't know if Fifth is in studio shape. There's a such thing called studio rust. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're still actively recording and then you stop and you kind of got to shake that rust off. You got to get
That's
your
right.
voice back. You got to get your thing.
Yep.
Hearing how Fab was going at it, and unless 50 has been secretly recording and we don't know about,
right. Go ahead.
I can't see him matching up with that. And I don't even think he's interested in rapping. 50 when 50 kind of low key threatened that after the new year he's coming back, I took that as he's about to meme you to death. Fab is going to drop a verse, but 50 is just going to drop memes.
But you know what? But I think that for big 50 Cent fans, the memes will be enough, and I get that. I understand that. But for hip hop and for hip hop heads who not gonna still just be so caught up with the memes and the funny stuff on Instagram,
Get in the booth.
cats want to hear you spit bars. You know what I'm
Get in the
saying?
booth.
And at the end of the day, if he does too many funny little memes and all that stuff, I think it's gonna blow over and it's gonna look like another L because Fab is gonna probably jump right back in that booth again because, like Jay-Z said, lyrical exercise. Fab is in fit shape lyrically. He still sounds good in pocket, cadence, whatever. 50's last couple times rhyming, you can kind of tell, like you said, it's almost like you overweight in the booth. You know what I'm saying? Like you ain't been doing your push-ups and stuff in the booth. So, like you said, if he hasn't really been getting back in pure form, you know what I'm saying? It's not going to end well for him. And I think his ego is so big that because who he is, a powerful person in entertainment, he might just do something different and not do a song. And that might be the best thing for him if, you know what I'm saying? Because if he half-ass it, Fab going to light his ass up.
Yeah. And you know, it's interesting though. And I also don't think this is a beat. I think this is gonna get nasty though. I think you know the hot shower line, shout the fat out. Hot shower line was vicious and you know 50 don't hold back. I don't think these guys have beef. I think it's all fun and games, but
yeah, no doubt.
But they're not afraid to go there and you know I don't know what 50 is gonna say about Fab, but you know there's things you could dig up. When you've been around in this game long enough, there's things that you could dig up. And you know, Fifth, the thing about Fifth is he's when it comes to the memes, unless you have a thick skin, and I think Fab has a thick skin, he's unrelenting. I mean, this Diddy stuff is nothing new. He's been going at Diddy for years, since Mace, since the window shopper video. He's been, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? So Fifth might have found a new target in Fab. We'll see. I don't know, man.
Yeah, he'll you know, Phil, he'll go as low as he need to go. We all know that It's been on camera that, you know, Fab had a situation with his baby moms before and all this kind of stuff like that. So he'll pull if he wants to get that nasty. But again, man, when it comes to hip hop, man, you know, for some of us, and I'm speaking for myself right now, it's about the music. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see how that turn out, man. But look here, this year's is basically up, man. Your top 5 albums of the year, man.
Oh man, for me, wow. Okay,
Or
number
favorite
five.
5.
Number 5 for me, no, because I have a list. I just had to recall it. Number 5 for me would be Chance the Rapper Starline. I think Chance did an amazing job. I think so many people counted him out after the big day, after the wedding album. A lot of lesser artists with again who maybe didn't have as thick of a skin would have folded. Man, I think Chance came back and did an incredible album.
Yeah, it's a good album. I like it.
I think that Rod joint with him and Do or Die, man, that shit was so dope. The Star Side intro, I think was incredible.
It was better than I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah, he had that song, The Negro Problem. I thought that was
like that. That's my favorite joint on the album.
Yeah, that's an important message, and the Old Men song. And I even said when he said, man, what he said, and even too, not as many artists this year were saying shit about this administration as I would have thought. They were, but you know, Chance was one of them. And when he said, "Oh, I got a 9mm named Thug Life. I got a new chain to say fuck ICE." Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was going home, man. So shout out to Chance. So Chance at number 5. Number 4 for me is De La Soul, Cabin in the Sky. We talked about the brilliance of that album. Number 3 for me was JID, God Does Like Ugly. I think that joint was dope. Community with clips, VCRs with Vince Staples. I like that song Skate with Sierra and Earth Gang. That song was so fun.
A lot of good songs on the album, man.
Yeah, man. Wholeheartedly, No Boo with Jesse Reyes. He had joints on there. Number 2 for me was Wale, Everything Is a Lot.
Whoa.
Man, I really like the way Wale showed up this year. And you know, that was a late entry. And then number 1 for me is Clips, Let God Sort Them Out.
Yeah, man, that's an interesting joint. So what I did was I didn't name the albums per se, but this is how dope this year was to me. So it's a lot of people got crazy comments in it right now. I just said the Dome top 15 albums of 2025 were done by these artists, and I got Mobb Deep, De La. This not necessarily order.
Order,
yeah, might be, but you know. So Mobb Deep, De La Soul, Clips, Freddie Gibbs, Big Crit, Che, Nas Premier, Ransom, Chance, Wale, Conway, JID, Exhibit, Lloyd Banks, Arrested Development. Then I got like honorable mentions, some like Smith & Wesson, Ruben Vincent, the June Change joint,
Life is Beautiful album. That was good. That was a good album.
Yeah, Raekwon album. And I didn't love Ghostface album, but I thought it was okay. I thought it was pretty good. I do like Raekwon album better.
I like Ghost album. I just wish it wasn't called Supreme Clientele too. It set up the expectation for me in a different direction from what it actually was, and it took a while for me to accept the album for what it was, rather than expecting a continuation of Supreme Clientele.
Yeah, it's scary. It's scary to name album Supreme Clientele too, especially the way if you look at Supreme Clientele as an album, it's one of Wu-Tang's best albums to a lot of people. It's an amazing album.
Arguably the best.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's flawless. It's a classic. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, because Ray, he threw himself out there by calling it on the Cuban Links 2, but it delivered. You know what I'm saying? I think it was 2009 or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was actually one of the best albums of the year. And I think it even got like 4.5 stars on almost every professional review.
We I tell you what, I was at the Double XL staff at that time. We ultimately rated it an XL. I was the music editor at the time. I considered giving that album a Double XL. We went back and listened to it twice. Like I listened to it once. The way it worked, to get a Double XL rating, like the music editor would come back and be like, "Yo, guys, I think we got to consider this one," and the whole staff will go listen. So I listened once. I'm like, "Listen, it's close," and the whole staff went to listen, and ultimately we voted, and it was the right decision. We put it at an XL, but we did consider for a moment to give that album a Double XL.
And no, I don't think fans would have been mad at that because I mean, it delivered, man. You know what I'm saying? Like hard ass beats, dope guest appearances from like Jadakiss and Beanie Siegel, everybody. Man, I mean, it ended kind of epic with that Kiss the Ring and all that stuff like that. I mean, it really and you got the guy
Dilla
talking
beats
like
on
he
there.
So to the point of when Ghost did that, you have to deliver that kind of album to follow up just the name. You know what I'm saying, of Supreme Clientele, man. So I think that's what. Same thing for me was New York State of Mind Part 3 real quick. It was, I think if you name that something else, maybe it's received a little different, because I always said that I wish they would have kept the similar beat and style that he did Part 2 in. I mean, you have New York State of Mind 1, 2 was basically almost the same beat. You know what I'm saying? Just a little bit. I think 3 should have had that same sound, but maybe flip and tweak just a little bit to get that vibe.
I think the allure of, and I'm not mad at him. I get it. I think the allure. I think Nas had access to that Billy Joel sample. I think there was an HBO documentary on Billy Joel this year. Nas was in it.
Yeah.
Like Billy Joel, one, just being a musical legend, but in terms of New York City, like Billy Joel is a legend in New York. Like Billy Joel will sell out the Garden 20 days straight. Like Billy Joel is one of those ones. And I think Nas, I think being a New Yorker, being a veteran musician, past being a rapper, just a revered classic type of New York artist. Like I think Nas, I think Billy Joel was on his mind. He did that documentary. They probably got cool. He said, "Yo, can I sample the joint?" They said, "Yeah, I get it." It just felt very ambitious, and it didn't come off quite the way I feel like I needed that. I agree with you, but I think the allure of like using that Billy Joel sample and kind of trying to kill it, I get it. I think on paper it works. I think the execution wasn't as pristine as it
he was rhyming on the song though.
Yeah.
He was rhyming on the song though. He was really hitting some real New York. I mean, you being from up there, I mean, I'm sure you can appreciate a lot of the stuff he was saying in the song. And to your point, having that as the sample being cleared, I guess, whatever. And that's big boy talk again to say, yo, I hollered at the man, and the man gave me his blessings kind of situation. So
think about it.
To the madness.
This is still an independent album, so they did this on an independent. I'm not pocket watching, but they did this on an independent budget. I'm sure, like and the clear Billy Joel sample and shit like that. I get it, and it's a different Nas too. I think the thing that we gotta understand, this is not the same Fatigues, Army Fatigues, Uzi and the Jack and Nas, and that's kind of what the song was about with Nas. This is different. Not his perspective. The city has changed, and his perspective of the video of the city is different. I'm not looking out a project window anymore. I'm looking out a penthouse window. You know what I'm saying? Like, and shit. That's beautiful, man. Because I'm glad that Nas is, and this is no diss to any of the other veterans, but so many veterans we see maybe not getting what they deserve, maybe not living the lifestyle that we feel like, because they meant so much to us, but they might not have ever got the money that they needed to live comfortably at this stage in their life. So God bless Nas that he looks like, again, I'm not pocket watching, but he looks like he's able to do that. You know what I'm saying?
It was meant to be, man. What you said just now, so it's so funny, because I said this about a year ago, and I posted a picture of him at his 50th party for that video Fever. I said a lot of people in the early 90s, after Illmatic, wanted Nas to stay the underground king. You know what I'm saying? They want him to be the king of boom bap, the king of all this. They wanted 5 Illmatics in a row, and thank God for Steve Stout and the vision, and it was written, because all of his success really kind of started. It was written with that trajectory to have the If I Rule the World and all the stuff, and getting on the radio more and growing into who he grew into, man. Like, so it is, for me, it's dope to see a kid from Live at the Barbecue and Back to the Grill Again to be this guy I saw in the video Fever, you know what I'm saying? And Raekwon sitting at the end of the video like, yo, you will always be amongst those extraordinary men, whatever, you know what I'm saying? And he deserved that, man. You know what I'm saying? He's paid it forward by all these foundations and giving flowers, you know what I'm saying, to these legends, man, and putting them in a situation to win and they eat and things like that. And I feel like he's going to continue doing that, which brings me to the thing of, I still feel like Nas and Kendrick Lamar, because of Kendrick's concert and run all the MVPs of 2025 to me. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like Nas and Kendrick, you can kind of say it's like co-MVP almost for different reasons. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like they, so but what you feel like as far as like when you look back at 2025, man, as far as like the MVP of the year, who would that be for you?
Yeah, I think Nas is in that conversation, particularly as an executive. We also never really gave him his props. We never seen him show up as an executive. Look, we had Quan for a second, but that didn't really do what we thought it was going to do. Even though that was an amazing song. Can we still? May I please
Just
have a
moment
of silence? Just a moment, yeah. Bravehearts. Like Nas was never really one to break artists or helm artists' career as opposed
in an Ill
to
Will situation.
Yeah,
the Ill Will Records type thing. It
it
didn't really take off by itself.
And it never quite worked out. And we give Jay-Z a lot of credit in that regard for helming and a lot of careers. And I think Nas has found his groove in that regard with this Legend Has It. Like, yeah, he's not breaking artists, but he got the right group of veterans together and say, yo, we can make a moment, we can make a impact, we can make a statement for what it's like to grow and be 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, Slick Rick, 60 years old. And so credit to Nas for that. So he's in that consideration. I think Malice, from an executive standpoint, I think Malice from a lyrical standpoint.
Okay.
I feel like, man, he owned the year for me. And
it was great.
And then Kendrick's in that conversation for me as well, because the worldwide tour and that was a rap concert. He co-headlined with SZA, but he's up there rapping. There's no backing track. Like, I saw that show 2 times. I saw it in MetLife in New York, New Jersey, and I saw it in LA. I went to LA and I saw it in LA. Like,
it was nuts, wasn't it?
It was nuts in LA. It was crazy, bro. And it was nuts in New York too. But you take a song like Euphoria, like that's just straight raps. Like straight and flow changes and boy, that was my favorite song to watch him perform, man. And he got up there and he did that. So that tour was special. Like, and GNX came out so late in the year in 2024. Kendrick just did it, and he didn't do much. He didn't give us no memes. You know what I'm saying? He didn't tweet about it. He just dropped his records. He did the Super Bowl and went on tour and let the music speak. And I think that's a powerful statement this year. Like, I don't have to be social media present, and not every artist has that. A lot of artists have to be social media present to be relevant. And Kendrick is in the space where he could just let the music speak, and God bless him for that.
My God, it's funny. That's the allure of Kendrick, I believe, man. Like, even during the battle, he just posted the songs.
Look at his timeline. If you look at his Twitter timeline, all it is the songs, the video, the like, you know what I'm saying?
That's it. And I think that's the great part about the way he looks at his art. You know what I'm saying? And it's gonna keep people being intrigued with him, because you don't know what he's thinking until he releases a song or until he goes on stage.
And even when he released the song, we still don't know what he's thinking, because it could have 4 or 5 different meanings. Like, people are still, you take Not Like Us, people assign to what they think it meant. Obviously it was a diss song towards Drake, but I see some people take it like, oh, he's talking about Black America and y'all not like us. I've seen some people adopt that song and say, and use it against other Black people in the diaspora, Caribbeans and Africans. Oh, y'all not like us. Y'all not from here. Y'all not like us. Y'all not from Cali. Y'all not like us. And these are all meanings that we assign to it and people have assigned to it. Kendrick hadn't said a word. He just dropped the record. So, I mean, you don't know what he meant. You know what I'm saying? Outside of dissing
Drake.
He's
like an abstract painter, man. He's like an abstract painter to a degree with his rhymes, man. Final thing, brother, and I appreciate you, of course. What does hip hop look like next year for Drake? Is this Iceman thing? What is the album coming? What if you heard in the rumblings, man? And what's going on with Drake?
Yeah, I mean, this is all just speculation on my part. I don't have any as you might guess, I don't really have any connection or inside information to that kid. Um, but but I think Iceman has to drop. You know what I'm saying? I think we'll get Iceman. I had said this year, and I wasn't wrong. I don't believe I was wrong when we were seeing those live streams. I think he was working the album out in real time. You know, it reminded me, if you could get the correlation, when Kanye did My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy and was giving us Good Friday songs. Now those Good
Yeah,
Friday
I
songs were
remember.
amazing. Christian Dior denim flow, like but he was
I
dropping them
remember.
on the blog. But what Ye was doing was he was testing it out. Let me see what the people are feeling.
Yep.
Let me get
Yep.
feedback in real time via blog comments as I start putting this album together, so I know what
Which
makes the
is
final
very
track list.
smart.
Yeah, it's market testing, and I think I'm not comparing it as far as quality to the music that Kanye was putting out in you know, Good Fridays, because any of those records could have made the album, and I think that'd have been
Yeah.
amazing. But I think Drake was doing a similar thing, his own version of, let me test this out in real time. Let me play some records. I'm gonna play you half a record. The record's half done.
Yeah.
Let's see what people feeling. Let's see. And I think that's cool. It's like an interactive, kind of studio session. I think the issue is that the audience didn't know what they were watching. They set up the live streams with no context initially. So you're thinking maybe you're hearing finished songs or this is the album rollout, when I think he could have gave context and said, yo, we're going to do this in real time with y'all. Watch this. Watch us cook up in real time. And I think the reception to it would have been different. People would have been maybe more forgiving as to what they heard. But regardless of what it is, I think the album has to come out. And regardless of what people may think I feel about him or he feels about me or whatever the fuck that situation is, I want the album to be dope.
Yeah.
Like, I
Hip hop.
want a dope album. I want some dope shit to listen to. I want to hear perspective. I think he has a perspective of, listen, man, we've seen the battle. We've seen the loss that he was handed. Like, look, if we're being fair and if we're being honest, he lost that battle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And now I think it's, how do you bounce back from that? And can he bounce back from that? And if he can, what a fucking story. How unstoppable is this guy if he could come back? And I'm not talking about numbers. I'm talking about, but give us some shit
Quality
that is just undeniable, that you can't front on. That it's like, man, I don't care
like
what
the album dope. I don't care. Yeah. I
right.
think it's a dope album. I don't care if you don't like him or not.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like what about, because we didn't quite see that with and it's not the same. It's not a 1-to-1, right? But Ja Rule never really quite regained his. Ja Rule was a monster. Murder Inc. was some juggernauts. Rule never quite regained his footing after 50. And there were other issues too. There was the feds. Murder Inc. was on trial. But it never quite got back to where it was, right? We never seen Shan recover after KRS-One, right?
Well, must, but I don't want to say.
But maybe Shan's ceiling wasn't as high as it was supposed to be anyway. But
yeah, I know what you mean.
But Shan was the guy. We never seen Cannabis fulfill his potential. And again, it wasn't all due to L. Like, I think there was some things going on with Cannabis. But after the LL thing, like, we just never seen Cannabis fulfill the potential, right?
Yeah.
These battles do have an effect on careers. They do. And it'll be interesting to see somebody like Drake bounce back. And we saw Jay bounce back. Jay said on the Ballin' remix on the Jim Jones, when he was dissing Jim, I got stronger after Ether. It's a Jay line. Jay said, I got stronger after Ether. Like, you know what I'm saying? So we've seen it before, but I think that's fun. I would like to see Drake come back. I think it's more interesting to see Drake come back with a dope album that plants a flag, rather than some shit that hip hop is able to write off. So I want dope music, bro. I'm a hip hop fan, man. So I mean, give me something dope, give me something authentic, give me something real.
I said the same thing, man. I don't know why some people think I don't like Drake. I actually like Drake. You know what I'm saying? Just because I said Kendrick won a rap battle, I like Drake. You know what I'm saying? I like Ja Rule.
I love Ja Rule. I love Cannabis. I love Meek. I love, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, I love hip hop, bro.
Everybody to win. Facts. I want everybody to win. I hope Drake drops an amazing album next year. I hope he's doing all rapping, of course. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I want him to really spit, because when he really in that them timestamp joints and the Omertos and the diplomatic immunity and all
Yeah,
that, the
diplomat.
dude can rock, man, when he really
Dog,
want to. So I want him to
diplomatic
really.
immunity is my shit. But like, I,
I
look,
love that joint.
and this just me. I'm the type of fan. Remember, diplomatic immunity and God's plan came out the same time. It was a 2-pack.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody's like, "Yo, God plan's the one." I'm like, "Nah," but this, yo, you hear this diplomatic
That
immunity shit? Him and
that
Boy
that was
Wonder,
on rewind for me
yeah, bro. Like,
and
Lemon
repeat.
Pepper freestyle and all of that. So, I mean,
Absolutely.
he definitely has it, man. We'll just see. Ultimately, it depends on who he wants to be and where he wants to go with
Yeah.
the rest of his career, and the level of focus. I mean, he might be on some fuck this hip hop shit. Y'all can have it. You know what I'm saying?
He
And I'm
could.
gonna
I mean, he
I'm,
could.
I'm gonna go super pop. Like that might be a decision he makes. I don't know. It depends on what he wants. But if he sets his mind to it, like he's done it before, so he could do it again. It just depends on the level of focus and what he's actually aiming for. We gotta wait and see.
Well, according to what I just read a few minutes ago before we started recording, was it what I saw on my timeline? Roy and Maul, whoever talking about, he's still the one MC of 2025 because of some streaming numbers. And I digress, and I ain't even gonna go in all that. That's just one of the things where some people actually think it's just about numbers when for most people it should be about the music. So we'll see, and
Yeah,
I hope he has a big year next year.
it just depends on what you value, man. Like I
Yeah,
can't
it is.
and there's a lot of things that factor into the numbers, and then taste is subjective, also, right? Like what I like might not be what somebody else likes, so it's all kind of subjective. But you know, man, if that's what you believe, if that's what justifies like who your
Yeah,
number one or who
it
your
is what
favorite
it
artist
is.
is the number. What can I say? Like, but
Hey, look, we get it.
but there was a time. But listen, man, it was a time when Vanilla Ice had the biggest numbers in the game. You know what I'm saying? It was a time, and I say this not to downplay nobody. It was a time when Hammer had the biggest numbers in the game.
That's
I'll
a
say this
fact.
about MC Hammer, and he took bullets for that. Like Hammer would get criticized for all of his pop success, you know.
But was
But
really feeding people in the hood too.
right, but Hammer, what I'm saying about Hammer's legacy is it was called being a sellout back then,
Yep,
but now the Hammer blueprint is kind of how the game go.
that's a
Like
fact.
rappers now will kill for what those Hammer things was. So hip hop has changed and what we value has changed for some. But I don't believe and respect the Hammer. There's no disrespect to Hammer.
No doubt.
Like man, I was 9-10 years old at that time, man. That like come on that Please Hammer Don't Hurt Him album. But even
Yeah,
shit, my favorite Hammer song still might be Turn This Mother Out. You know what I'm saying? Like that
yeah.
was my joint. But it's like numbers don't tell the whole story is what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, they don't, man. The quality of music, man, is still
For me,
important to us. Yeah, for a sector of hip hop, the music and the quality is gonna always be the number one attraction. For some people, it's a success. It's the allure of a lifestyle and numbers and all this stuff. But we don't really give a shit about that. We care about the music, man. But yo, anything going on with you, man? Real quick, going into 2026, man. The projects you're working on, anything you got going on? I know you did the whole thing with Nas and everybody in New York, man. You got any other things going on like that coming up? Or
yeah, I'm putting it together now. Nothing like that. I got something. I can't speak about it yet, though. I haven't
no,
signed the contract.
we'll wait on it.
But a couple things though. But one of my big initiatives for 2026. My YouTube channel is at 50,000 subscribers now. Like I've been working. I want to hit 100,000 subs next year. But one of
We
the
gonna
things
get
I
it.
want to do, which I haven't done in a long time, is get back to interviews. So I'm going to start integrating artist interviews into my channel now.
Oh,
So you're still gonna see me talking and giving just my thoughts on my YouTube, but we're gonna get some artists on the channel too and some real in-depth conversation about our favorite music. So I look forward to doing that. I want to drop an album next year. I
okay.
might drop two. I got an album and a mixtape that I've just started working on. So I might get two projects next year. And yeah, man, and that's it. I'm just kind of just taking it day by day, man. There's a couple of other opportunities, but I'm just waiting to sign these
Yeah,
contracts and see where it go.
absolutely, man. I feel you 100%, man. And of course, dog. We rocked out again, man. I appreciate you. You know that. I respect what you do for the culture, man. I respect the way you respect the culture, because that means a whole lot to me, man. Because, you know, anybody know me, I'm very serious about this hip-hop shit, man. I don't like no clown shit. And you always been respectable, man. And we're gonna rock out in 2026, man. You know what I'm saying? So once again, bro, episode 92, you know what I'm saying? We out of here.
That's what's up, man. Peace.